Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Brian Corbin, and today I want to talk to you about how to write the argument essay. So what exactly is an argument? Well, an argument involves the process of establishing a claim and then proving it with logical reasoning, examples, and research through using expert ideas, facts, and sources. The focus of a strong argument should be upon a cohesive explanation of claims paired with correlating evidence. The evidence must come from factual and credible sources. The topics for this essay that you can write about, this argument essay, are mostly okay except for the following: abortion, global warming, gay marriage, euthanasia, and marijuana. You can choose pretty much any topic you want besides those that are PG-13 and below. Before you start writing your essay, I recommend that you brainstorm possible ideas that you might want to use to write about in your paper. Once you've figured out your topic after brainstorming, you want to make sure that you're starting off your essay broad by discussing your topic in general. You want to discuss briefly what both sides of the issue believe. This is very important. This will help you provide context for your topic. And also in the opening paragraph, you want to note that there is a difference of opinion, because in pretty much every single argument in the world, there are two sides or more than that to how to approach the argument and tackle the problem. As you write your essay, your opening paragraph, you want to narrow your opening paragraph down to your thesis statement, which should state precisely what you are arguing. Your thesis statement's only supposed to be one sentence long. Do not write more than one sentence for your thesis, and kind of keep it short, not super long. It can be medium sized, but I wouldn't write a super long thesis statement, because otherwise your idea gets muddled. And it should be the last sentence of your opening paragraph. So once again, the opening paragraph, you start off broad, discussing your topic, and then you give context, set the stage for your argument. Don't just start off by talking about gun control right away, or whatever the topic is. Start off broad and then narrow it down to your thesis. If you organize your paper correctly, you're going to add credibility and you're going to make your points more believable. You're going to help eliminate confusion by organizing your paper, because if it's too confusing, then your arguments will fall flat, basically. You also want to make sure when organizing your paper that you use transition sentences to bridge the gap between arguments. And whatever you do, do not jump from point to point without establishing connections, and that's where transition sentences help you with that. Good writing guides an audience through your reasoning, and that is where good organization comes in. And of course, organization matters because it helps guide the reader through the reading process. I'm going to show you now how to organize your essay on the. You can organize your essay in one of the three following ways: from general to specific information, from most important to least important point, and from weakest claim to strongest claim. How you organize it's up to you. I can't give you a specific way to do it other than to tell you that it all depends upon how you want to display your arguments and how you want to argue them throughout your paper. And you'll figure it out as you go along, and that's also where brainstorming comes into play. Once you've got your organization figured out, the next thing you want to do is figure out the main points of your arguments and figure out what the opposition believes. In the first body paragraph, try and find some common ground between your point of view and the opposition's point of view. This is called making some concessions. And then in each subsequent paragraph, discuss what the opposition believes and refute it or explain why it's wrong. But spend the bulk of each paragraph discussing why your point of view is more correct. But always you want to show what the opposite side believes and then give your rebuttal. Your body paragraphs build upon the claims made in the introduction paragraphs, of course. You want to organize them with the use of topic sentences that illustrate the main idea of each paragraph. And you want to offer an explanation of the history or recent developments of the topic, kind of early on in the paper, to give your audience a general idea of what's going on and to help them understand the complexity of the issue. As I said earlier, it's important to address the claims of the opposition, because this is an important component in building a convincing argument. This also demonstrates your credibility as a writer, and it shows you've researched multiple sides of the argument and that your decision is one that's informed, that your opinion is not just based on your own thoughts, but it's based on different facts and different ideas. And also, by addressing the opposition, you show that you've considered other points of view and you figured out for yourself whether they are valid and reasonable or not. It is so important to consider your audience when you offer your counter argument. You want to concede to some of your opposition's concerns because that demonstrates respect for their opinions. No one on either side is 100% correct or 100% wrong on their opinions. So make sure you concede and at least admit what the opposite side is doing that is good and correct. But remain tactful yet firm in your opposition to it. And remember that using rude or deprecating language can cause your audience to reject your position without carefully considering your claims. So don't be so dogmatic, but be respectful, polite, and admit when the opposition has done something that's good or they believe something that's valid that you think is perfectly fine. You should also aim to build upon common ground. For example, in a war, although one side might want the war to continue, another side might want the war to end, everyone can agree that they want the troops to come home safely. Okay, another example is maybe the challenges of feeding children at school and the cost associated with that. Okay, well, some people might argue that it's good to feed kids at school all the time, and other ones might say, no, we should pull those programs out. But everyone can agree upon the idea that kids learn better when they are nourished. And then with gun control, which is a very heated issue, some people want more gun control, some people want less, but everyone wants the idea of fewer deaths, and that should be a goal. So when you build upon common ground in your essay, it helps you actually do a better job at making inroads and strengthening your arguments and being more persuasive. So these are just a few examples for that. Here are some of the questions to ask when you're developing ideas. So what's the background? What is the historical social context of this controversial issue? What do you want your audience to believe or to do? And can you limit your proposition so that those who disagree cannot easily challenge you with your expectations? Make sure that your arguments and that the facts you present are watertight, so that way it's harder for people to argue against you. And with your refutation, think about this. What is the view on the other side, and why is it flawed in reasoning or evidence? This is something you should consider in your brainstorming. And then with support, in addition to sounding reasoning, ask yourself, can you use appropriate facts, examples, statistics, and opinions of authorities? If you can't do that, choose a different topic or choose a different way to tackle your subject. You have to have valid, credible sources, not just opinions, as you write your argument essay. There are different kinds of evidence that you can use to present your arguments and strengthen them. These include facts, examples, statistics, and evidence from and opinions of authorities or people in the know, people that are considered experts in their fields and generally know what they're talking about, people that you would consider to be the be-all, end-all of certain subjects and certain content matter. Remember to make sure your essay is not based on your opinion. Do not say you think this, you think that. Use outside sources from experts and credible sources to help you write your essay. Your essay needs to come from solid, reputable sources. It cannot be your opinion. You can have your opinion interspersed with it, but your opinion has to be backed up by these credible sources. Here are some simple transitional words for arguments. I'll just read a few. Of course, in the context, moreover, consequently, in support of. You can look at those on the screen there and try and use those in your essay if you'd like. Your conclusion should reemphasize the main points made in your paper, and you can choose to reiterate a call for action or speculate on the future of your topic when appropriate. Avoid making new claims in your conclusion, though. Okay, so remember this. In the introduction, you told the audience what you're going to tell them. In the body, you told them. Now in the conclusion, you're going to tell them what you just told them. And ask yourself the question, so what? Why does everything you just wrote matter? The answer to that question will help you write a terrific conclusion.